What's up and welcome back, Trey Reacts family, as I'm bringing you another special video today on this Friday from Andy Hoops, as his title of his video is called, Here's Why This Was the Warriors' Greatest Title Run. But without further ado, family, please don't forget to like, comment, as well as subscribe and turn on post notification bell so you never miss another upload of hearing my voice and seeing my face. But we're going to get straight to the reaction. Let me go small, slide up here, full screen. Let's go.
The Golden State Warriors have reached the NBA Finals 6 times in 8 seasons.
I know I got 76ers
This was their
gear
4th
on,
championship in that time span, and I'd say it is by far the most impressive one.
Just
Here's why.
I was wondering.
How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and let's get straight into this video.
Also, this video is going to be linked in the bio as well.
So, prior to the start of the 2021-22 season, the Warriors just came off a year where they missed the playoffs. While Steph Curry was popping off, he was sorely lacking any kind of help. This was reflected in their preseason predictions as well. 538.com gave them a 22% chance to make the playoffs, and just an 8% chance to win the title. Of course, that number did not take into account how Klay would play once he returned, or if he would even return. It also didn't take into account that Andrew Wiggins would turn into the Defensive Player of the Year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not just that, but throughout the season, they didn't look like a
time
championship team. For example, both Curry and Klay had their worst seasons in a long time. Klay is understandable, as this was his first season back from recovering from some major injuries.
I know y'all
But
probably
Curry,
seen all the videos
this is the
by
first
now.
time of his
Klay
career he shot under
Thompson
40% from 3. The drop-off of Curry and Klay was reflected in the team's offensive rating. The Warriors had just the 17th best offense in the NBA.
That's crazy.
Compare that to the years they won the title. In 2015, they were 2nd. In 2017, they were 1st. And in 2018, they were 3rd.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know what's crazy? The Warriors winning the title with the 17th best offense, that was the lowest rated offense for any championship team since the 2004 Detroit Pistons, who had the 18th best offense. Similar to that team, it was the Warriors' defense that carried them throughout the season, even when the shots weren't falling. I don't think this needs to be said, but out of their 4 championships, out of their 6 appearances in the finals, this was their worst team. Which makes it even more impressive, because they didn't even go to a Game 7 in any playoff series. Frankly,
honestly,
they dominated.
How y'all think about this? I don't know. I felt like
to the max.
Warriors always had a chance.
I think something that's been overlooked was how the Warriors became a dynasty. Most of their core players who've been there for years, Curry, Klay, and Trey, they were drafted and developed by the team. During those Kevin Durant years, they kind of lost that homegrown title, as Durant was more like a mercenary, a superstar that joined the squad with the intention of having an easy path to the championship. It kind of threw a wrench on their image of being a homegrown team.
And now
Since he left, the Warriors went back to their roots. In the 2 years they missed the playoffs due to injuries, they spent that time focusing on developing even more young talent. Jordan Poole is a prime example of another Warriors success story. As a rookie, this dude was one of the worst players in the NBA, yet a few short years later, he became arguably the team's second best player during the regular season.
Nasty. That move was nasty.
I'm loving this new Mountain Dew legend. BW.
Warriors with Klay Thompson for the ad. Well played, you
Told you was gonna bring it up. Hey, you gotta let it go, man.
But
I did.
How do y'all feel about that, though, what they were saying? Let me know in the comments what y'all
Dust
think.
on the floor can become airborne.
But another question I want to ask y'all: how do y'all feel about the Lakers might add in Bradley Beal to their team? Honestly, and I was saying this to a friend of mine, the Lakers need to get younger rather than getting older, more developed players. I understand that sounds
Looney is
good,
another
but
great
still.
story. In previous years, he didn't have as much of an impact compared to this season. He finally became healthy for the first time in a while, and worked his way into the starting lineup. Looney was critical in the playoffs, especially with his spectacular rebounding. He recorded 5 playoff games with at least 5 offensive rebounds, including a 22-rebound performance against Memphis, where he grabbed 11 offensive boards. And then he grabbed 6 offensive boards in the championship-clinching Game 6 against Boston. To see their homegrown players excel at this stage, it's incredible. Other teams must be super jealous.
Do it on my team too. Well played, Andy Hoops.
Turning around a lost cause. In addition to their homegrown stars, the Warriors also fielded some players who were once considered a lost cause, but they revitalized their careers in Golden State.
Yeah.
For Andrew Wiggins, this is the first time in his career where he's made a meaningful impact on a team, a championship team, no less. I'd even go as far as to say that the Warriors saved his career, but he put in a ton of work himself. Like I mentioned earlier, the dude looked like the best defender in the playoffs, as he held Jason Tatum to the worst series of his career. This was an aspect of his game that most people criticize him for. They used to call him an inefficient volume scorer who provided nothing else. Well, he sure provided a lot of intangibles that we didn't think he had. His defensive dominance was well observed. Perhaps his biggest supporter is his own coach. Steve Kerr spoke very highly of Wiggins during the finals. Quote, "He's a very mild-mannered guy, but he's taken a leap in these playoffs in terms of his impact on the game defensively. On the glass, you saw it the other night, 16 rebounds. Because the games are obviously so meaningful, there's more emotion from him and from everybody.
Makes
the
sense.
biggest thing is, he's a two-way player. You gotta have two-way guys to make it this far and to succeed. He has just grown by leaps and bounds over the last couple years. It's really fun to watch that growth." The crazy part is, in the finals, Wiggins was most definitely the team's second best player and the team's best defender. If you told me that a few years ago that this would be the case, I would never believe you.
Wiggins pulling the rest of their group stepped
It wasn't just Wiggins, though, who turned their career around. Another guy I should mention is Otto Porter Jr.
I'm kind of glad
Prior to his arrival to Golden State, his career kind of seemed lost. In the seasons after leaving the Wizards, Porter's game dropped off. It was a combination of nagging injuries and teams throwing him to the side, preferring to give minutes to others instead of him. However, since he arrived to the Warriors, he created a new role for himself.
If I'm not mistaken.
Porter transitioned to power forward and even started 3 games in the NBA Finals. For a guy whose career looked like it was about to be over, he bounced back and earned himself another contract.
Big time.
Then there's Gary Payton II.
And Gary Payton Jr.
You remember all that stuff that Steve Kerr said during that Memphis series when GP got injured? Well, he was a guy who struggled for 6 years to find a stable role on an NBA roster, and he finally did in Golden State. That's why the injury really sucked for him. He appeared in 71 regular season games, by far the most games he played in a season. His second most games played in a season before that was only 29 games. Kerr wasn't wrong when he said that this is GP's first real shot at playing consistent minutes in the NBA, and he performed very well in his first ever playoffs. What better praise than from the best player on your team, Steph Curry, who described GP like this. "He's the tallest 6'3" guy in the world. He plays way above his height. Defensively, he can do some pretty crazy things."
Big fact.
All 3 of these guys, Wiggins, Porter, and Payton, found a new life in Golden State, which makes this title run even more special. Not only was it filled with homegrown talent, but also players who we thought were the runt of the litter. They found their niche in the NBA and saved their own careers. No more doubts for Steph Curry. One of the storylines in the previous few years was that Steph Curry, despite his greatness, still had 0 Finals MVPs before this.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he should have definitely won it in 2015. But in the other 2 titles, Durant did outplay him in the finals. Since Durant left, there was uncertainty if this team could even make it back to the finals without him. You add on all the injuries, it was looking bleak.
They definitely could.
Plus, the critics believe the Warriors' titles were overrated. Like, for example, in 2015, they essentially beat up a Cavs team that was missing Kyrie and Kevin Love. In 2017 and 2018, they had Durant, and they were heavy favorites to win the title. Yeah. There were also questions if Curry really was the best player on the team during those years Durant was there. I mean, it was debatable on who the better individual player was, but make no mistake, just like Draymond said, the Warriors' offense has always run through Steph Curry. While Durant is a once-in-a-generation player who can play in any system and dominate, Curry is the system. So, he's the one true reason the Warriors were contenders all these years. Even so, I think we all wanted to see him lead the Warriors to another championship without Durant. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, his finals performances were a bit shaky. Curry had a reputation of not performing up to his standards in the finals. However, this time, this championship in 2022, there shouldn't be any more doubt on his legacy. Curry's name is now stamped up there with the all-time greats. This championship was a lot more meaningful in more ways than one. The Warriors had missed the playoffs in the 2 previous seasons. Everyone has struggled with injuries, and with Durant's departure, there were serious questions if this dynasty was over. Heck, some people thought that 2019 loss to the Raptors, that was the end of the dynasty. Nobody knew if the Warriors could bounce back. And keep in mind, their main core of Curry, Clay, and Draymond were getting pretty old too. With Curry being 34 and Trey and Clay being 32, this is around the time most NBA players start to regress. That's why this championship meant so much to him. After a tumultuous 2 seasons, the Warriors returned to their rightful place on the throne. I've never seen Curry show this much emotion. He showed more emotion after winning this one than any other one. It meant way more to him. Because the struggle to get here was so hard. Because the struggle to get back into championship contention, it was so difficult. To add on to all this, the Warriors simultaneously are championship contenders and they have a bright future. During their losing years, they accumulated some high draft picks. If Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody pan out, they'll have a seamless transition into the next era. That's scary to think about. Anyway, that's all, folks. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the Warriors 2022 championship.
Well, that's going to be the end of his video, and this is going to be the end of my video. Again, family, let me know in the comments how y'all feel about the questions that I asked throughout the video. And also, let me know how y'all feel about the Warriors and how they run link to get to the title that they just won recently. But like I said, this is going to be the end of my video. Please have a safe, blessed Friday. And please also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And turn on the post notification bell. As well as follow me on my reaction page right here at trey.reacts. As well as follow me on my main page. And let's be friends and let's be neutrals right here at Trey vs. Trey 30. And mess with me on my TikTok because I'm trying to get to 10K on TikTok. Follow me right here at Trey303023. And my business email inquiry is going to be right up above me as well as in my bio. But again, family, like I said, have a safe, blessed Friday. I'm going to see y'all next week with another reaction. Peace.